WWE ushered in a new era on the Raw brand tonight with the introduction of new faces and stories for fans to follow through the end of the year. Who stepped up to challenge Big E for the WWE Championship? Would RK Bro find finality with AJ Styles and Omos as they battled for the Raw brand for the Red Brand's tag team titles? What direction would the women's title picture take? Those questions and more awaited on tonight's episode, the season premiere of WWE's flagship show. Welcome, everybody, to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and Streaming.com. Today, I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher, and back from another sabbatical. You know her, you love her, she's back with us. We're glad to have her. You couldn't have picked a better night to join us, Dee. The first lady of the Wrestling Forum, the Twisted Angel herself, Dee Woodson, back with us here tonight. Great to have you here, Dee. And I don't know about the Phenom Michael Bullock, awaiting his presence. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. But if not, then maybe we'll have him back with us on Wednesday Night Mayhem as we get back into our normal schedule. So, oh man, what a night. And there's definitely one thing there's one thing in particular on this show tonight that most certainly needs to be addressed. But anyways, this was the quote unquote season premiere of Monday Night Raw from the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. You remember, this was the arena where the fans came back after the almost year and change we had to endure the Performance Center and the Thunderdome combined. July 16th, that Friday night SmackDown before Money in the Bank. The very first show where the fans came back, that's where it was. So Houston gets a second show. So good for them. They got a lot of things to be excited about. That and the Astros in the World Series against MF's Braves. We'll get into that tomorrow. But for right now, we started off this season premiere of Monday Night Raw with the WWE Champion himself, Big E, interrupted by Seth Rollins, Rey Mysterio, Kevin Owens, and Finn Balor. They all, made their claims to the number one contendership, but then Sonya Deville came out, and Sonya says, you know what? The four of you are going to have a fatal four-way match, and the winner will earn the right to challenge Big E for the WWE Championship. But then Sonya's like, you know what? No. A regular four-way match isn't good enough. Let's raise the stakes. Ladder match. A fatal four-way ladder match, which served as our main event for this edition of Monday Night Raw this evening. Longtime wrestling fans could have booked this one without thinking twice. It was very much in line with WWE booking tendencies, and while that is not necessarily a bad thing, it did set up 3 stars to lose on their very first night on Raw. My first thoughts about the match going in was it's probably going to be awesome based on the talent involved, but booking a ladder match out of the blue seems like a dangerous, unnecessary ratings grab, but, we'll wait and see on that. I mean, a great way to start the show. If you guys want to address it, feel free, or if not, we can just move on, even though it probably was the typical sort of segment, right?
Yeah, you know what? You're right. It was a typical cookie cutter segment, but it does give you a little bit of a look through the viewing glass of the contenders for the WWE title on Monday Night Raw. You right out of the gate see who the players are. Balor, Mysterio, Rollins, Owens. Those are 4 good quality guys that can easily go after Big E and the WWE Championship. Now, you can say maybe that was a little of a wishy-washy moment because of who they grabbed. But the thing is that, Monday Night Raw has been known to have a deeper roster, more talented guys. Because it's a 3-hour show, you need to fill the gaps a little more deeper. But if you really think about it, at the top where the title is, there's not that many guys at the top. So for the first show of the brand new season, Now that the rosters are in place after the draft, that's not bad for a first fight. That's not bad for your first main event on a season premiere with this new roster. So I thought they did a good job. Yeah, the promo was cookie cutter, but I thought they did a pretty good job with it nonetheless. So, Didi, if you want to talk about it, it's yours. If you don't, Anthony, back to you.
Yeah, it was a pretty good opening segment. Yeah, very cookie cutter, but like you said, you're introducing the new rosters. You're bringing things, full circle to who's going to be the new number one contender for Big East title. So yeah, I mean, I didn't see a whole lot of negative in it. Just like you said, cookie cutter though. It's a normal everyday promo that we get on Raw. So yeah, I'm not gonna add too much more. It's yours, for you.
All right. So with that being said, let's dive on. Let's continue on. And our first match, it was a triple threat match. Speaking of contenders matches, we had a triple threat match where the winner would earn a Raw Tag Team Championship match against RK Bro later in the night. Go figure. The Street Profits, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, the Alpha Academy, Chad Gable and Otis, and the Dirty Dogs, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. Winners of the match, 10 minutes and 25 seconds. The Dirty Dogs, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, they get the Raw Tag Team title match against RK Bro. MF, fresh matchup. I don't think we've ever seen Ziggler and Roode against RK Bro before.
No, first time ever we're gonna get it. Even if I think all three would have been a first time, because I don't think Street Profits went after RK Bro yet, and neither did Alpha Academy. So any one of these three would have had a first opportunity. I think predictably, I think everybody would have said it should have been Street Profits, but look, I get it, it's the first night. That's a storyline down the line. You don't need to pull the trigger on a big one right out of the gate. That would have been maybe a little bit of an unnecessary move, and it also would have hurted one of the two tag teams. So obviously, Alpha Academy, still relatively new. I really think they should have gone to SmackDown. I really think Otis and Chad Gable were better off on SmackDown than on Monday Night Raw, because I kind of got a bad feeling they're going to get lost on Raw. And I think they should have stayed on SmackDown. But Dirty Dogs, definitely well-deserving. Former SmackDown Tag Team Champions in their own right. So they do got the credibility. So I think that's why they went with it, because they are the most established tag team. They got the team with the most credibility, even though you could even make an argument for Street Profits being former tag champions themselves. I think at the end of the day, this was definitely the right decision. I got nothing more bad to say. This was easily a 3-star fight for me. So, Didi, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll agree. 3-star fight. It was good. But then you also still had the interference. But at the same time, it was three teams that we haven't really seen go up against RK Bro either. So it was good to see what was going to come out of this and who was going to end up going into the main event with RK Bro. And it turned out to be the Dirty Dogs, and I have nothing really too negative to say about it. So it's yours, Florio.
Yeah, 3-star match for me. One of the top fights of the night. Not the fight of the night. Oh, no. You know what that is. We're going to get into that later. The psychology employed by Alpha Academy, including Otis pulling Dolph Ziggler off of Montez Ford at one point and dragging him into the corner so he could tag himself in for the pin attempt, was excellent. Otherwise, the chemistry of the three teams was on full display. The Street Profits, in particular, are just so good at bringing raw energy and excitement to their performances. They are the perfect option to work alongside a stale Omos and AJ Styles pairing that could use a spark. Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode are a solid tag team, established competitors, and should work very well with Randy Orton and Riddle, who are a surprisingly great tandem. So 3 stars for that, 100% agree. Then we came out, and it's fun time for good old MF Michael Fletcher, because we all know MF is a huge, diehard Zelina Vega fan. And I'm sure he was gushing from ear to ear because it was the official coronation of Queen Zelina. And I swear I could hear MF from his house saying, "All hail Queen Zelina," like William Regal or Sharmell used to do for Booker back in the day. I mean, we all remember that. He was doing the exact same thing, being the hype man, like he always does. And all the fun we could have had on commentary with that, MF. I mean, especially if this was the Providence show tonight, especially.
Oh, if it was Providence, oh God. Yeah, I would have been twice as obnoxious as the heel, as the quote unquote heel commentator. Yeah. I definitely would have been eating that up if that was in Providence. Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, you would have been gurring like a crazy man, and you would have been gushing.
Did you
That's all there is to say.
The outfit tonight, Regal-esque, meant to be a queen. Meant to be a queen. Absolutely. Like,
yeah,
she fits the part. She fits the mold of what a true proper queen of WWE looks like. She wanted it. She went out there and she earned it. Now, I know a lot of people were claiming, whatever, but what she did in Crown Jewel, knocking off Doudrop with that code red, it was a moment to be bestowed. And yes, I absolutely lost it when she won the Queen of the Ring or the Queen's Crown tournament, and Craig Hamilton doing the all hail Queen Zelina. I was having my moment, and yes, as I said, and I meant it, I bent the knee and bowed to the new queen of WWE.
Yes. Yep. That's that's all that's just about right. So exactly as I predicted. So but man alive. But yes, this was her coronation, and then she got interrupted by Doudrop, and it led into what else is new? A return match. Queen Zelina Vega versus Doudrop. Queen Zelina wins the match, 2.5 minutes via the scepter. She used the scepter, distracted our favorite referee, Mr. Danilo Enfibio, and his pompadour. Yep, that's what happened there. So, all right. Obviously, the match was The Crown Jewel match was a little better, but this one, not so much. Vega cut a confident promo, considering she hasn't had the opportunity to talk as the main figure in a segment in a long time. She looks the part. She has the personality to carry that crown as the lead villain in the women's division, and can thrive as the pipsqueak heel that talks a big game, but has to cheat to win. The match itself was fine for what it was and featured a finish that supports the idea that this Queen of the Ring may be one who rules by breaking the rules. So, probably 1 to 1.5, probably for the match. So, ho-hum diva fight, but whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
Ho-hum diva fight, I will give you that, but I will say this. This will absolutely fit the narrative, and I cannot wait to see her next week in Providence, because she will be there. And I hope to be there. Well, we are going to be there, but I hope I some way somehow through the course of the night, either after the show or whatever, maybe we can hang around. And if she does show up, hopefully I get a moment to at least get a chance to see Queen Zelina. That's all I'll say.
That's I would love for that too, but I mean that is a bit of a reach, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But you never know. You never know. But we'll have to wait and see. But anyways, all right. We are gonna get into this though. And it's only fitting that Didi Woodson will be starting it off. But before you do, Didi, I'm gonna set you up. I'm gonna set it up for all of you. The Raw Women's Champion, or I should say the new Raw Women's Champion, the man, Becky Lynch. Of course, we all know that situation with Charlotte Flair and the whole 9 yards as a result of that segment that went down last Friday night on SmackDown. Becky comes out, cuts her usual promo in the whole 9 yards, interrupted by Bianca Belair. Bianca wanted a rematch, and all hell breaks loose. A kendo stick comes into play, and and Bianca got what she wanted. She goaded the man into putting her title on the line. She said, "You want your match? You got your match, just not tonight." The fans in Houston were pissed. You had to imagine the fans in Houston were pissed. But Houston's loss is Providence's gain, because next Monday Night Raw, from the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence, Rhode Island, where myself, MF, and Michael Bullock will be, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Raw Women's Championship on the line. Didi Woodson, one simple question. How about it?
Wow. Yeah, this is going to be some match next week. I agree with Bianca. She did all this, and in the end, did deserve to be number one contender again for the Raw title this time. But at the same time, you can also agree with Becky's argument too, because she did lose at Crown Jewel. But this is going to definitely be, a great match. The last one was really good between the two of them. So this is going to be another one that's going to be really good between them. And, you guys are lucky you get to actually go and sit in the audience and watch it. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. But yeah, I mean, awesome segment. So I'm not going to add too much more. It's yours, Florio.
Yes, indeed, Didi. I mean, wow. Oh, man. I mean, what else is there to say except first and foremost, in all serious business, in all seriousness, rather, this was the segment of the night. This was some quality promo work from the two best talkers in the women's division. Becky Lynch has embraced this heel persona and absolutely relishes being the baddie. She hits all the nerves, knows how to manipulate the audience, and somehow strengthen the babyface's argument at the same time. Most importantly, she is a heel who believes her means are just, and the result is typically a promo dripping in conviction. Then there is Bianca Belair, who is so natural on the mic that it's a wonder she didn't have more opportunities to showcase her charisma in NXT. She commands attention, and promos like this work because of it. She is real in a company of scripted and sometimes dry performers who work entire careers to connect with audiences the way she has. She is a breakout star that has absolutely earned every ounce of success she has enjoyed this year. Houston, I feel bad for you guys. I mean, you guys got robbed of something really special, but at the same time, it's the classic case of sorry, not sorry, because we're sorry for you guys, but we ain't sorry, because myself, MF, and Bullock, we're going to be there at the Dunk next Monday night. a title match. I mean, a title match. And if they're smart, you make this SOB the main event. You got to make this the main event. That's all there is to say about that. We need this to be the main event. And before I give it to you, MF, I know you're chomping at the bits. We'll get to you in a moment. But I'm going to make a bold prediction right here and right now. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Whatever. I don't care. I kind of want to see Bianca win the belt. And I think there's a good chance she could. So you never know, because you never know. Anything can happen on any given night. So what a moment that would be for us if we could see the crowning of a new Raw Women's Champion. Because the last time Raw was here, we saw a new Raw Tag Team Champion, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. And then that whole episode happened afterwards, which really got us talking. And that really put that show over the top. So, boy, you want to talk about WWE rolling out the red carpet for us in Providence next week. Whoa, wow. When Becky said, not tonight, I was like, at first I was like, you got to be kidding me. But then I'm like, wait a minute. The light bulb went off, and I'm like, oh my God, I think they're going to do it in Providence. I think it's going to happen in Providence. And MF, guess what, brother? It's going to happen. The man and the EST Raw Women's Championship, and we're going to be there front and center. Let's go.
You know what? And the one thing I got to say is that you're absolutely right. Vince McMahon and the WWE loves Providence, Rhode Island. It is a territory thing. It is a home-based thing. We are not far from Stamford, Connecticut. We're about 90 minutes from Stamford, which is the home of World Wrestling Entertainment, and the world-famous Titan Towers is in our proverbial backyard. So we're not far from them. We're about 90 minutes away from Stamford. And the one thing is, back in the day when this was all territorial stuff, there was only 4 places in the entire world that WWF used to do their shows way back when it was Vince McMahon's father, and even Vince in the early years before it became the worldwide leader in sport, when it became the worldwide leader in wrestling. They used to do shows at the Boston Garden in Boston, Massachusetts, the Hartford Civic Center, now known as the XL Center, Madison Square Garden in New York, and Providence Civic Center, Providence, Rhode Island.
Oh, bringing back some great memories, man. Bringing back some great memories.
That was the core 4 for the WWF, the World Wrestling Federation. And those were the places that really got the biggest moments. Providence, because of the King of the Ring. Every year, the King of the Ring was Providence, Rhode Island. This was the birthplace of the King of the Ring. The first ever tournaments were held here. On top of that, some of the biggest moments in Providence has happened for WWE. The infamous Austin return after he had that conflicted decision about should he join the Alliance or WWF. That brawl was right here in our backyard. Also, like you said, we've had many moments. Randy Orton winning the WWF title right here in Backlash, the last pay-per-view. Oh, by the way, we're getting a pay-per-view next year, next May.
Happy Mother's Day.
It's going to be in Providence, folks.
On Mother's Day.
On Mother's Day. So, we got that going. Whatever the case may be, this is the event of all events. Anthony, you said it. The last time they were here, the last time Raw was here in Providence, all hell broke loose. First, the nuke that got dropped on us at the very beginning of the show when Roman Reigns said that he had leukemia and had to drop the Universal title at the time. It was a gut shot to all of us in the building. We all had our hearts broken in that place. So that's when that was our gut shot. That was a heartbreaker for us. We all were devastated.
And that set the tone.
That set the tone. But then we had that moment. The winners of the Raw Tag Team Champions, The Shield, Rollins and Ambrose. Ambrose dumps Rollins and turns on him. The whole world was stunned. This is why whenever WWE comes to Providence, you never know what the hell is going to happen. We had a Money in the Bank cash-in, and it failed. Me and Bullock were there on a SmackDown, and we witnessed that right before our very eyes, where Deanie Woodson and Anthony Floyer were watching it at home on their TVs. We were there in the building going absolutely bonkers, A, for a Money in the Bank cash-in, but B, to see history that this was the fourth failure in the history of the company with Baron Corbin. We've seen many historical moments in WWE's history that's emanated from Providence, Rhode Island, that is lore. And if you want to talk about lore, get your butts and watch it on Peacock, because that's where it is. And it is exclusive. Unless you're not in the United States, then please go to the WWE Network and you can watch it around the world. Providence is a hotbed, and WWE has always said it. Every time they've come to Providence, this is one of the cities they love, and they mean it. Vince McMahon has openly said how much he loves Providence, Rhode Island, because of how good they treat WWE. WWE and Providence, it goes hand in hand. We've had some of the greatest moments in WWE history, and we might be on the precipice of yet another moment. You don't know what's going to happen. One thing is for sure, a title match, Raw Women's title, the Man Becky Lynch, and the EST Bianca Belair. Guys, this could be the best match of their series, guaranteed. Because of the fact of what the stakes are. And yes, Anthony, I agree with you. This should be the main event for Providence, Rhode Island next Monday night. And it should. I hope it is. I hope they do this justice. This deserves to be the main event. It's going to be incredible, guys. So, you know what? You're right, Anthony. I kind of jumped the gun, but the thing is, like I said, the hotbed and the tradition is more Providence than Sullivan Stadium, Foxborough Stadium. Even though they started it in 85-86, the biggest tournaments were held in Providence. I think if you look at the field, if you look at the byline and everything else, Providence tournaments has been amazing, and these were the best shows ever. Without a doubt, it's going to be a night to remember. I can't wait. You know, it's not a house show. It's Raw. It's the longest running episodic show on earth. And not only that, but we get the kicker that this May, Mother's Day weekend, we get a pay-per-view. And I'm so excited for that too. We already talked about it behind the scenes. Florio, Bullock, myself. We're all in. We're jumping. We're not hesitating on that. We just got to figure out how we're going to do this and where we're going to sit. That's all we got to figure out. But other than that, this is going to be awesome. So next week, Monday Night Raw, Providence, Rhode Island. I can't wait. Didi, Didi is yours. This was standard promo, but the emphasis, the excitement, and more importantly, to know that a women's title fight, and you know and I know because I've told you a lot about the history of Providence and WWE and all this, so you know better than anybody else. You're probably the fourth best person to talk to about it because I kind of keep bringing it up a lot of times, and she'll tell you, we've been talking about this. Our friendship dates back to 2002, and she knows I've been telling a lot of stories about WWE and Providence, Rhode Island. So she knows.
Sure.
She knows.
Yeah, but she let off. So, but
sorry, my bad.
Hey, no problem. We're all excited. I mean, we're all excited, and I don't know if I even want to go on with the show anymore because MF just hyped me the hell up here. I mean, my gosh, I mean, that's why you're the hype man, MF. That's why you'll forever and always be our hype man. I mean, oh my God. I mean, I wish we could end the show there, really, but no, we still have things to get into here. But MF is right. I mean, we're gonna be in for a real treat next week. I mean, thank you, Vinnie Mac and the Suits, for giving us a pay-per-view quality main event in our neck of the woods next week, and for also giving us a pay-per-view for the first time. It'll be 13 damn years since we've had one, for goodness sakes. And it's going to be a bucket list moment for me because I never had the opportunity to enjoy a pay-per-view at the Dunk. MF, you have. You went to Backlash 2009 with your dad, and of course you also well, you didn't go to the actual event, but you went to the press conference for Armageddon 2005, and
Michael Bullock, I believe, went to the 2005 Armageddon.
Yes, he did. He sure did. He got to see his man, The Undertaker, and Randy Orton battle inside Hell in a Cell on that night. Yes, indeed. And yeah, so MF, was that Backlash 09? Was that the only one you went to, or did you go to the Royal Rumble in '94?
No, the Backlash was the only pay-per-view I've ever gone to.
Oh, okay. So
this will be my second pay-per-view ever in my career.
This is gonna be my first. This is a bucket list thing for me. I mean, I never had the opportunity to go to a pay-per-view live, and I cannot believe in a good 6+ months from now, I'm going to have that opportunity. Oh my goodness. I mean, the thought of that my heart is so full and excited right now. I mean, you have no idea. So, wow, May 8th, Mother's Day, 2022. But wow, it's going to be something else. So, batten down the hatches, Providence. We're going to be there. So, let's have some fun next week. And you better believe we're going to have some fun, especially with the great seats we got. Oh, yeah, we're going to have some fun next week. No doubts. All right. Getting back to the business at hand, we had a non-title match. We had here's someone we haven't seen in a while. The United States Heavyweight Champion, Damian Priest. He went one-on-one with T-Bar in a non-title match. Damian Priest wins the match in 2 minutes and 40 seconds via disqualification. Okay, the match sucked, of course, but the post-match, whoa, Damian Priest, wow. Holy guacamole. He absolutely lost it. I mean, the man snapped. I mean, wow. We are witnessing a shift in character for Priest, who debuted new theme music and an edgier persona. Time will tell if it works or not, but he is definitely a character that felt perfectly fine as he was. He was big, charismatic, and athletic. The Archer of Infamy character was cool and different. Why change it up to make him essentially like anyone else with a penchant for losing his cool at times? If this was the start of a feud with T-Bar, given the talent of both performers and their previous work together, it is hardly a bad thing. The artist, formerly known as Dominik Dijakovic, wasted a year of his career going nowhere as part of Retribution. Letting him reestablish himself and showcase his skills against a like-skilled performer is exactly what the proverbial doctor called for. Unfortunately, he felt like a sacrificial lamb to this new Priest, a guy that doesn't have the cool, calm demeanor of his past self. So, really all there is to say here. Then we had, a rivalry that started on SmackDown, has now moved over to Monday Night Raw. Renewal of a rivalry that's starting on SmackDown, now on Raw. Carmella versus Liv Morgan. Carmella wins the match in an even 3 minutes. And they had a little fun with the news. Of course, you heard the news a few days ago or so that Carmella and Corey Graves are engaged. And they had a little fun with the news of Graves and Carmella's engagement. And, I mean, you saw Liv Morgan. Got in Corey Graves' face and said, "Congratulations on your engagement." I couldn't really make out what she said after that, but she went there. That's all there is to say. Liv Morgan went there, but then she ended up paying for it. So this was every other match between these two with an equally as dumbfounding finish. Liv Morgan is over and waiting for her opportunity to break out and become the star everyone knows she is. Beating her again to enhance a Carmella character that is a bit too one-dimensional really helps no one. We know Carmella is a heel. She has been for years. What does she actually gain from this? It has been a long time since a rivalry did more to cool a character off like this one has done for Liv Morgan, who feels like an also-ran instead of a breakout, as she was for a brief moment in time on SmackDown a month or so ago. Then we had Keith Bearcat Lee squaring off against Cedric Alexander. Keith Bearcat Lee wins the match in 2.5 minutes. Let's see. Take one opponent, let monstrous newcomer toss him around, repeat. It is an easy formula, and it worked here. Lee looked physically dominant, showed off his new arsenal, and stood intimidating in the face of Shelton Benjamin, challenging said dominance. The nickname may never stick, and the growl at the beginning of his entrance theme is ridiculous, but the in-ring presentation of this worked well and presented Lee as a potential big star. And who knows? Maybe, we saw him toss around Cedric Alexander tonight. Who knows? Maybe we'll get that match with Bearcat and Shelton Benjamin next Monday in Providence. I mean, that's a very real possibility. So we'll have to wait and see on that. So and then a battle of two young studs. We had Austin Theory squaring off against Dominic Mysterio. Austin Theory wins the match, 2 minutes, 55 seconds. Yeah, another match. I mean, this was a match that happened. Austin Theory looks great. Dominic Mysterio is continuously learning at this point in his career, and the seeds have been planted for a rivalry between Austin Theory and Father Rey Mysterio moving forward, if the creative team still pleases. There was nothing more or less to it. It accomplished what it set out to in putting over the heel, and for that, it gets a passing rating. Probably like 2 stars at best or so. So, yeah, so not going to really, ramble on and on about that. But we are going to get into this, though. This is something we can finally get into here. Raw Tag Team Championship on the line. The champions, RK Bro, Randy Orton, and Riddle, defending against the Dirty Dogs, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. Winners of the match in 11 minutes and 40 seconds, and still the Raw Tag Team Champions, RK Bro, Randy Orton, and Riddle. And I got to say, this was the second best fight of the night. I'm going to give this between 3.25 to 3.5 stars. This was every bit as good as one should have expected. Ziggler and Roode worked very well with Orton, but also bumped and sold well for Riddle. Ziggler in particular demonstrated a ton of chemistry with Riddle. Their history of amateur wrestling made for a fun exchange late that culminated with the babyface keeping his opponent's shoulders down for 1 second longer. Who knows where this leaves RK Bro moving forward, but fun matches like this have helped enhance a team that has no business being as good or entertaining as they are. But a solid match here. I would say second best fight of the night on this night. 3.25 to 3.5 stars. MF, as we always like to say, the champions stay the champions.
Champions stay the champions. 3.25 stars, no doubt about it. This was a solid title match, to say the very least. It was enjoyable for what it was worth, but the right outcome was in doubt. RK Bro is without a doubt the best tag team right now on Monday Night Raw, and they shined again. I would love to see RK Bro next week. I'm excited to see RK Bro next week. Not so much about Riddle. I know Riddle can be a little bit of a pest
But you know Bullock's going to hit us with the bro anyway.
Yeah, of course. But
we know what you're going to do.
I'm going to say this. He's definitely the Riddle. I'm definitely the Randy Orton of the RK Bro. So who knows? We might even imitate and do the RK Bro poses, which is he down on the knees, stretching out like he's Shawn Michaels, and me doing my world famous Randy Orton pose, RK Bro style. Who knows how that's gonna look? But I think that's what you're gonna get to see next week, Anthony. But it is what it is.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, RK Bro's cool. Randy's the star. Riddle, he can be I'll even steal a word from Dee Dee Woodson. He is an idiot. I'll say that. He's an annoying little idiot. But look, his wrestling abilities is top notch. Really good, and he's definitely a good wrestler. But the stuff outside the ring makes him an idiot, in my opinion. So, Dee, 3.25 stars. It's yours.
Yeah, 3.25 stars. It was a good match. Yeah, Riddle can be an idiot, but he does know his stuff in the ring. But yeah, this whole thing with him being the stupid one out of him and Orton, that's pretty old. I think a lot of people don't like seeing that. But it is what it is. But yeah, this great main event. They did a great job, and the outcome really wasn't in doubt on it. So not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah, that's another thing for us to look forward to next week. I mean, you've heard Bullock on this show many times. And the way he does the Riddle, bro, it just sounds so lifelike. It sounds like the real thing. Close your eyes and it's like you're hearing the real thing. Yeah, he's going to hit us with the bro. MF's going to hit us with the Orton pose. That's going to make for one hell of a photo opportunity via Facebook or Instagram. Next week. Because that is going to be, and don't worry, we promise, myself, MF, Bullock, we will have photos and or videos like we've always done. And you can find them on our respective Facebook and or Instagram pages. So Dee, be on the lookout for those next week. But yes. All right. So that's right. I started this. So then from there, a lot of other things. All right. Actually, no. It's actually the big one. So this was the big one, the main event. Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Rey Mysterio, Finn Balor, Fatal 4-Way ladder match for the opportunity to challenge Big E for the WWE Championship. The winner of the match in 22 minutes and 15 seconds. And the next challenger for Big E in the WWE Championship, Seth freaking Rollins. MF, there's nothing more to say. I'll just say it for all of us. Fight of the night.
3.5 to 3.75 of a star. Fight of the night. Anthony is absolutely right. This was a heck of a match. It was amazing. It was amazing how this played out. Without a doubt, great matchup. But he's back. The Monday Night Messiah has returned to the Red Brand and instantly becomes an impact player on Monday Night Raw. Right out of the gate, he's now in line to possibly be fighting for the WWE Championship. And yeah, you're feeling it. You're feeling the pressure right about now. So the Rollins match was good. It was solid. There's really nothing more to add, Anthony. So yeah, with that said, nothing more to add. Dee, it's yours.
Yeah, I can agree with the rating. This definitely was the match of the night. They did an awesome job. Um, and definitely, you know, uh, not entirely surprised that it was Seth Rollins, but at the same time, I think we all had at least someone else other than Seth Rollins that you'd want to root for in the match. But yeah, I'm not entirely surprised that Seth won it because they all had a vendetta against Seth, and they've all beaten him for something uh, along the way. So yeah, it was a good main event, good way to end the show. Um, and the confrontation with Big E at the end was nice little bow to tie on the end of it. So not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Florio.
With all due respect, my friends, I think you underscored this a little bit. 4.25 to 4.5 stars is my rating for this. Kevin Owens' penchant for big ladder bumps is equal parts admirable and ridiculous. He throws his body around on ladders as if he was actually trained to fall on them, racking his body with pain while selling the high risk, high reward nature of these matches. He was integral to the overall quality of the match and deserves recognition even in defeat. Seth Rollins winning the match was the right call. The guy has been absolutely extraordinary this year, wrestling some of the best matches of his career. He has earned a championship opportunity and a long main event program. The impending feud with Big E should be a ton of fun based on the enormous personalities of the performers involved, and more importantly, their skills and abilities between the ropes. There is a definitive heel, too, which will only help enhance Big E's status as a babyface world champion at a time when that should be goal number one. 4.25, 4.5 stars. This, to me, was the fight of the night. I wholeheartedly disagree with MF&D's ratings, but, it is what it is. But, so with all that being said, and one other bonus for this, it was so nice and refreshing to see this match end and wrap up before the top of the hour rather than conveniently ending just seconds before the end of the show for a change. That was great. You ended it with a good few minutes to spare. You timed that perfectly. So that's all there is to say there. 4.25, 4.5 stars, fight of the night. So not much more to say here. Didi Woodson, let's start it off with you. Overall thoughts on this season premiere of Monday Night Raw from Houston tonight?
Yeah, it was a pretty good show. Just there's a lot of cutouts in the night. So I think I'm going to give it probably about 7.5 stars. It was solid. It wasn't the best, no, but it was a solid show. And, Raw's starting to get a little bit better with some of the storyline building. But at the same time, they're horrible with a lot of the repetitive stuff. And, tonight we did have some fresh matches, so that was a nice little change of pace. So not much more I'm going to add. So hopefully I will see everybody on Friday. So good night, guys.
All right. Good night, Didi. Great to have you back. And I think you might have overscored this a little bit. It didn't really feel like a 7.5 show for me. It felt more like a 6.5 for me. Overall, this season premiere felt like business as usual, only with some new faces coming over from SmackDown. If you watch both shows, the new faces really don't feel all that fresh. The problem with Raw isn't the wrestlers, it's the creative and the formula feel. And here's hoping that something changes with this new cast of characters, but seeing is believing. So I'll just leave it at that. But if you're pressed for time, and I know a lot of you are, I know I am included, but for those of you who are pressed for time, who didn't see the show tonight, slight recommendation, but not overly required, would be that opening segment. But this is what I strongly recommend you go out of your way to see. That triple threat number one contenders tag team match with Ziggler and Rude, the Street Profits, and Alpha Academy. You must see the Becky and Bianca segment because that was insane. That was really well done. The tag team title match, RK Bro against Ziggler and Rude. And of course, most importantly, you got to go out of your way to see the ladder match because that was wow. That's all there is to say there. So Houston only gets a 6 to 6.5, But MF, I got a good feeling next week's show is going to be much higher than that rating.
I'm actually going to go 6.5 to 7. I'm going to meet you guys in the middle. I think you guys were right on the point. I'll even go as far to say it could easily be 6 3/4, so 6.75. I can give it that. I thought it was a fine show. It could have been a little better in certain areas. Agreed. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. So I really got nothing more to say. Anthony, it's time for your Tony's Take.
And very special Tony's Take, MF, as I'm not going to be doing my usual Tony's Take here, which is, of course, the Impact Wrestling Show and 205 Live. What we are going to do, we are going to review Impact Wrestling's biggest pay-per-view of the year, which was, of course, Bound for Glory, which took place this past Saturday night from Sam's Town in Las Vegas, Nevada, on pay-per-view, which I watched via Fight TV. In between, some of the other big things, because let me tell you, Saturday night was a banner night. Let me tell you, I mean, banner night for myself and for MF. Well, really more so for MF than me, but yes, I got to see Notre Dame beat USC, which was great. But of course, the bigger story was MF and his Atlanta Braves, winning the National League pennant and going to the World Series for the first time in 22 years, and special moment there. But I watched Bound for Glory in between all of that, and let's break it down. During the pre-show, they inducted Awesome Kong into the Hall of Fame, and no big surprise, Gail Kim served as the inductor for Awesome Kong, only fitting because of their long history in Impact back in the TNA days. There was a pre-show match. Jordan Grace versus Madison Rain versus John Skyler versus Chelsea Green versus Crazy Steve versus Falaba. This was for the Digital Media Championship. And the winner of the match in 5 minutes and 2 seconds, and the first ever inaugural Impact Wrestling Digital Media Champion, Jordan Grace. Kind of a mess, and they didn't get much time, which is always a problem in a match like this one. You can only get so far with so many people in the match at the same time, but at least they went with an interesting winner. That being said, the whole point of this was to have people in the ring to warm up the crowd, and that went well enough, though it wasn't exactly quality. Probably about two stars at best. And now we go to the main card, and we started it off with the debut, the highly anticipated Impact Wrestling debut of the Inspiration. Oh boy, we got Bullock here. All right. Well, Bullock, come on in. We're gonna get you caught up here real quick. With Monday Night Raw this evening. Don't want to keep you too long. So before I get into my my stuff here. So with that being said, let's we're only going to talk about the relevant stuff, as you know. That's how we always do it. No need for cutouts. The opening segment with Big E coming out and getting interrupted by Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, and Rey Mysterio. Sonya Deville books a fatal 4-way ladder match where the winner will challenge Big E for the WWE Championship down the road.
Yeah, I actually really like this segment. I mean, obviously the fatal 4-way to determine the next number one challenger, and in a ladder match. All I can say is I'm definitely up for that.
Yeah, we certainly all were. A triple threat match to determine the number one contenders for the Raw Tag Team Championship later in the show. Street Profits versus Alpha Academy versus Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. And the glorious one, and as we affectionately call them during our chats, Big Girl Panties, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode win the match 10 minutes and 25 seconds. And they advance to later in the show against RK Bro for the Raw Tag titles. How about it, Bullet?
I'm definitely up for that. I mean, this was definitely a 2.5 to 3 star match. And there's really nothing more to say except, and one more thing for you, we'll definitely get to be seeing that come next Monday night.
Yes, sir. Well, it depends on if they use him. We'll have to wait and see if he gets used. But, and then from there, the next relevant thing, And of course, this was the big selling point of the night, other than the main event, of course. Becky Lynch cutting the promo, interrupted by Bianca Belair. Bianca goaded her into a title match. Becky said, "You got your match, but not tonight." Because Houston's loss, our gain. Because next Monday night in Providence, Bullock, you and I and MF, we're gonna be there front row. We're gonna be there front and center to see Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair square off for the Raw Women's Championship. Can you believe we're getting that next week, Bullock? Can you believe it?
All I can say is lucky us. I mean, next week we're going to be there front and center. Well, obviously the promo was good. I mean, obviously, like you said, Bianca Belair was trying to goad Becky Lynch into a title match, but Houston's not getting it, but we're getting it next week in our neck of the woods, baby. And I cannot wait. Raw Women's title in Providence. Woo.
Main event, baby. Hopefully,
Bring it on, baby.
All we can say is MF and I and Didi, and I'm sure you will concur with this. I'm sure we're hoping that this ends, that they make this the main event next week, right?
Oh, you better believe it. They better make this the main event.
And if they do make it the main event, I'm gonna do another one of our chat staples. Bold prediction. I think we could see a new champion. How awesome would that be if we see Bianca win the belt? How awesome would that be?
It would be very awesome to see Bianca become the new champion in our neck of the woods next week, but never count out the man.
Oh no. Not at all. But man, that's gonna be something else next week, man. You should. I mean, I only wish you would have gotten in here earlier, because you should have heard MF. MF hyped the hell out of that thing as only he could. So, but
not surprised with that,
because he is our hype man after all. So, but anyways, we had way too many cutouts. But then we finally had something good. The Raw Tag Team title matchup: RK Bro versus the Dirty Dogs. RK Bro successfully defends the title in 11 minutes and 40 seconds.
I'll give this about 3 1/4, 3 1/2 for the effort here. I mean, the outcome was never in doubt. I mean, we knew they were going to retain the title. So, and don't forget another thing, Florio, come next Monday night. What you and I will be doing there in Providence.
I'm sure we'll see them. And yep, and we brought it up during our review before you came in. MF will be doing the Randy Orton pose. And what are you going to be doing there, Riddle?
Bro.
Doesn't that sound lifelike, folks? I mean, you close your eyes and you feel like it's actually him doing it. I mean, that's how unbelievable that is, Bullock. I mean, I can't wait. So, and yes, I brought that up.
Stay tuned next Monday night, folks, because you're going to be seeing it.
Oh yeah, and we're gonna try to get a photo and a video of that next week. No doubt about that for our various social media.
Because I'm sure next week you guys will be doing your pre-show hype thing that you guys always do.
Oh yeah, that final. Oh yeah, yes, that's right. The during the that commercial break thing that they would always do on the USA Network. Absolutely, yes, absolutely. You're right.
Yeah, don't think for a minute I've forgotten about that.
You did. I did. You didn't. So good for you. I'm glad you reminded me of that. So, all right.
You're gonna have to bring that up to Fletch.
Oh, no doubt. We certainly will. And now the main event, the Fatal 4-Way Ladder match: Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Rey Mysterio, Finn Balor. Seth Rollins wins the match. He gets the title shot. 22 minutes and 15 seconds.
Obviously, this was the fight of the night, hands down. I'll give this about 4 1/4 stars here. I mean, this was definitely a very good main event here. And yeah, now Seth Rollins gets the opportunity at the WWE Championship against Big E. And all I can say for Big E, I mean, he's faced some tough challenges, but this will be his toughest one, because he's going up against a man that is not once, but twice slayed the Beast. Of course, that was when it was the Universal Championship. So I know Big E will be ready, but Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see. But he's gonna be in for a tough challenge against Seth Rollins.
All right. So, overall thoughts on this season premiere of Monday Night Raw before we get there next week.
All right. I'll give this about maybe a 6 out of 10. I mean, because you did have some good stuff, but once again, you probably had way too many cutouts here. So
Oh yeah.
yeah. But it was about an average show. But I'll just say it was good, but not great. I'll just say that.
Solid, but not
So-
overly spectacular.
Yeah. But all I can say is can't wait for next Monday night. And they better give us a really good show.
That main event alone will be worth the price of admission. That's all there is to say there. So,
Oh, yeah. All I can say is it's onward to Monday Night Raw in Providence next week, Florio. Let's go.
and then of course the big news that came out today as part of the 2022 pay-per-view schedule announcement. For the first time in 13 years, we're getting a pay-per-view, Bullock. How about it?
Sign me up, baby.
Oh, hell yeah.
We
And-
just don't
and-
know which one it will be.
Yeah, we don't know which one it will be, but we do know the date. It's going to be on Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.
Oh boy.
Oh my word. But all kidding aside, I mean, I'm very curious. Before I move on to my Tony's take, Bullock, how many pay-per-views have you been in? Have you been to in Providence?
Whew. Wow. I'm trying to remember.
I know of at least two you went to.
I think it was only two.
Was it those?
One
Was
of,
it just
them
those
was the
two?
19 one of them was the 1997 King of the Ring.
Yes, sir.
And the main event of that one was The Undertaker against Farouk.
Yep, you got to see your man, The Undertaker, defend the WWF Championship against Ron Farouk Simmons, obviously, in that main event. And you also got to see Triple H become the King of the Ring that night.
Yep. And then, of
And
course,
Shawn Michaels and
2000
Stone Cold, oh, by the way.
Yeah, we can't forget about that one either. And then, of
They stole
course,
the damn show.
the other one I went to was the 2005 Armageddon pay-per-view.
And you got to see Hell in a Cell.
Oh,
The
man.
original.
And I can tell you, just seeing it from above and seeing it up close, it's something.
I'm sure. So, so you've been to two. Of course, I've never been to one, so this will be my first one. This is a bucket list moment for me. So that's all
And
I
what
can
about
say.
Flex?
He's only been to one. The only one he got to go to was Backlash in 2009, where he got to see his man Randy Orton win the WWE Championship in that very unique 6-man tag team matchup.
And I think my cousin Tori actually went to that same one as well.
Yep. So we've been to Raw, we've been to SmackDown. We're going to be going to Raw next week, and you best believe, come Mother's Day, we'll work something out with our moms beforehand. Believe that. But when it comes to that night, we're having our fun. You best believe it.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we'll figure something out with the Mother's Day stuff. But
All right, I'll let you get. I'll get out of here and let you do your Tony steak.
you can say if you want. But because of the fact that I just started it, I had just started it before you came in. But because it featured the debut of the Inspiration, the former Iconics, if you will. Jessica McKay and Cassie Lee, you remember them, the Iconics in WWE. They made history, became women's tag team champions, WrestleMania 35. Their debut match was for the Knockouts Tag Team Championship as they squared off against Decay, Rosemary, and Jessica Havoc. Winners of the match, 8 minutes and 58 seconds, and the new Impact Wrestling Knockouts Tag Team Champions, The Inspiration. 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. The action wasn't great, but the Inspiration feels so much bigger than any team that has held the title since their return, save for maybe Fire and Flavor. It isn't like Rosemary and Havoc or our legendary team with their 98-day reign ending here. So this was the right call. If it isn't a case of Impact bringing in WWE rejects and putting them over, because this is a nice upgrade for the titles. The triple threat match to crown a new X Division champion, Trey Miguel versus Steve Macklin versus El Phantasmo. The winner and the new X Division champion in 13 minutes and 21 seconds, Trey Miguel. It was your run-of-the-mill X Division 3-way match with everyone moving around in multiple cases of 2 people in the ring with 1 on the floor. What we got was entertaining, though, with the right result. Miguel has lost so many times now that there is almost no way he could lose again. So it makes a lot of sense to give him the big win he has been needing for a long time now. Throw in Steve Macklin not taking a fall, and this went rather well. 3.5 stars is my rating for that. Heath went up against Violent by Design. He was hoping that Rhino would join him, and then finally Rhino did join him. Rhino and Slater win the match, 4 minutes, 57 seconds. This was a little more than an angle instead of a full-on match, and that's fine. The whole point here was about having Rhino return to the side of good to save his friend. Somehow Impact managed to make me care about a story involving Rhino, Heath, and Eric Young, so they must be doing something right. No need to have a long match here as they got to the important part and did it rather well. 2 stars, probably the worst fight of the night on this. The Call Your Shot Gauntlet Battle Royale. The winner of that Battle Royale in an overall time of 29 minutes and 38 seconds, it was Moose. They were flying through this one, and your mileage may vary on that part. The bigger issue here was how fast people were coming in, as there wasn't time to do much in between. It does help that there were multiple possible winners, and they didn't waste time once it was down to one-on-one. It could have been shortened a good bit, though, and the longer time is what holds it back a lot. Probably about 3 stars at best. Good Brothers versus Bullet Club versus Chris Bay and Hikuleo with the Bullet Club and Finn Juice. Triple threat match for the World Tag Team titles. Good Brothers successfully defend 9 minutes and 55 seconds. The Good Brothers retained, but they did so in the most cliche triple threat ending possible. The action was good enough, but the match was kind of slow, and it was nothing we haven't seen before. The ending made me roll my eyes hard, though, and that's not how you should feel about a major match. 3.25 for that. Knockouts Championship on the line. Deonna Purrazzo defending against Mickie James. Winner of the match in 13 minutes and 18 seconds. And the new Knockouts champion, Mickie James. Another 3.5 star match. This was about the big moment in the end, but it helps that they also had a heck of a match. Mickie can still go in the ring and works well with anyone, which works even better if she's in the ring with someone as good as Purrazzo. I'm not sure how long James will hold the title, but it was cool to see her win here, as he certainly still has it. And she will defend the title next month on November 20th. That's part of the next Impact Plus special, Turning Point. And she's going to defend that title against Mercedes Martinez. So we'll see what happens. Main event of the evening for the Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship. Christian Cage defending against Josh Alexander. Winner of the match in 18 minutes and 57 seconds. And the new Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion, Josh Alexander. Fight of the night. 4 to 4.25 stars. They had an awesome match here with a great story throughout, as Christian was doing his best but got reeled in by Alexander. The ending was about Christian getting trapped by a submission machine, as Alexander was just a better man. Alexander also knew what Christian would be trying because he has watched Christian for so many years. Heck of a main event. It felt like a true passing of the torch, which is exactly what it should have been. And then Josh Alexander's wife and young son came in the ring to celebrate with him. Matt Striker got very emotional on commentary. He was literally crying during commentary. But wait, there was more. You thought that was it. Oh, no, there was more. Moose, who had won the Call Your Shot Gauntlet Battle Royale at the beginning or earlier in the night, he cashes in on Josh Alexander, and he steals the title from Josh Alexander in 7 seconds. Moose is now the World Heavyweight Champion. Money in the Bank. It had to be copied, and it is what it is. It felt like a Money in the Bank type thing. So 7 out of 10. The ending really brought the rating down, as it felt like something out of the old school TNA days. It came off like they were going for shock value instead of the happy ending. Moose winning the title is a good thing, but it took away from a nice moment. Alexander versus Moose eventually will be good stuff, but this was frustrating, and that is something Impact has avoided in recent months. I didn't hate the ending, but I certainly didn't like it. The rest of the show did feel like a major night, though, as you had all kinds of title changes up and down the card, and that's what you need. So that's really and that's what you need to make the biggest show of the year feel important, as a lot of things happened here. There was more than enough quality to make the show good, but some of the matches pulled things back down. What matters here, though, is there was more good than bad, but a few tweaks would have made it that much better. But it was still a fine show for what it was. Not the greatest, but not the worst either. So 7 out of 10 for that. So So with that will put the bow on this edition of Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. We'll be back in our normal time slot as we are going to review NXT 2.0, Halloween Havoc, and AEW Dynamite. Thursday night, we got college football Thursday, week number 9, headlined by that huge Big Ten double main event, Michigan versus Michigan State, and Penn State versus Ohio State. A couple of other good games here and there, but those are the two big ones. But I think Michigan State might be the bigger game because of the rankings and because of Penn State's embarrassing loss this past weekend to Illinois in 9 overtimes, mind you. College football record. So we'll get into that on Thursday. Friday night, the return of the Cerebral Smack Talk hosted by good old MF Michael Fletcher. Friday night, SmackDown, AEW Rampage, and then from there, Saturday night, NFL Saturday. And we'll get into all the games of week number 8 in the NFL. And programming note, we will not have a Ridiculously Raw next Monday night, as we will be coming in late, obviously, from that Monday Night Raw. So that show will be bumped to next Tuesday night, probably around our usual 10:30 or so time. We'll get back to you on that one, but we're gonna push it back to the following night instead of next Monday night because we're gonna be getting in late and it's gonna be too late to do a show. So we'll do that next week. So that's it. So until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Mayhem, this is Anthony Florio signing off on behalf of all of us here at the Wrestling Forum. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, the Phenom Michael Bullock, the Twisted Angel and First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Dee Dee Woodson. So great to have her back this evening. And, of course, always and forever, the Yankee Messiah 401, the man who made it all possible in the first place, Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up, Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Mayhem, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and streaming.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you, beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio. So long. Bye, everybody. Bye.